All right, this is how it goes. While a lot of albums ask, "Do you like these songs?" This album asks, "How much of your idea of music can be removed before you stop listening?"
Yeah,
Pretty
I mean,
important.
we've got some elements of like air fryer and microwave going on here. I just gotta. I thought you did it again.
All right, before we get into it, if you're new here, please hang out with us. We like to discuss literally all kinds of music. We have episodes every Monday and Thursday at 7 o'clock. This is Frankie. He's an incredibly talented young musician, and he'll just about listen to anything we throw at him. I'm Marcus, his longtime music teacher, and we like to listen to all music from around the world throughout time. All right, let's get into it, sir.
How do you pronounce this?
That was pretty good. Yeah, you know.
This is Merzbow's album Pulse Demon.
So I hope we can hear well as we talk a little bit over the music. Do this because all right, I know it's only a few seconds in, but this is his first time hearing, I think, literally any music like this. First impressions, man. Those first few seconds. It's
Yeah,
pretty
I
important.
mean, we've got some elements of like air fryer and microwave going on here. It's out there. It's out there. It's not really like anything I've ever listened to before. Um, I don't know. I'm a little bit. I just want to listen to more and like
Okay.
kind of think about what I think of this a little bit more.
Okay. Well, before we go a little bit more, let me just explain Merzbow. He's Japanese musician, Masami Akita, and he's been doing this type of music, which eventually got just called noise music. Where'd that come from, right? Um, and he became well respected in the field of what he does, and then even outside that field to like modern composers, free improvisers. But the idea that he had was, well, it's known that what if you got that like crazy freak out part, like when you hear like a rock band playing live and then near the end of the song before they cadence on the song, or just like
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
whole idea was, what if that was like the whole song?
That's cool. I like that.
And then he just expanded upon that and started to do more stuff. So maybe one hint as we continue listening to this is listen to the details.
Okay.
Listen very closely, especially to what changes.
Okay.
That's
Mhm.
that's it. searching for patterns?
I don't know. I keep coming back to like this feeling as like I can't place it, but like I feel like I've heard this before. Like not that I've heard this music, but like it's super familiar for me for some reason.
Like, what do you mean? Like every sound, or just the idea?
I don't know, like not every sound for sure,
Okay.
because I mean, but like just the idea. It could be that I got an MRI once, or one of those big, and it kind of sounds like that. But
That's
it's like
a little bit more minimal, actually. Minimal noise.
that's true. Yeah, this
Less
is a
bass
lot
noise,
more.
yeah.
But it's like obviously this is super alien and like nothing that I really have like been exposed to before.
Yeah.
But there's like I can't place my finger on like why it sounds so familiar.
Okay.
And it's not as like off-putting as I thought it would be.
Oh, okay.
Like it's just like it's almost I've just like heard it before for some reason, but I haven't, you know?
Hmm.
But it's like not as bad as I thought it would be. You know, not as like as a shock to my ear because I haven't heard this before.
Okay. You mean like not as abrasive? Or,
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Cuz I don't listen to this stuff like regularly. But it's not as like it's not as abrasive as I thought it would be for my ear
Okay.
upon like first listen, you know.
So noise music in general, you really haven't heard, except for maybe like maybe some like more free jazz type of stuff. which
Sure,
isn't
or
really
even
noise,
like
but
that
closest.
rock stuff that you're talking about.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So all right. I think this is an interesting question before we even dive deeper. Is would you define this as music, as sound, as both, as art, or I mean, how would you define this?
I don't know. I think like my definition of music is like still always changing, and I need to like I don't know, but I feel like I have a pretty loose definition of music. And maybe my English teacher wouldn't like this definition because we have a bunch of debates about what is art and what isn't art. But
Okay.
I kind of feel like my definition of music is like any sound that I could pull from to use in my own composition. So that way, like, I don't really want to define something not as music because I feel like if I don't define it as music, then I can't like have it as an influence, and I want to have everything as an influence.
That's cool. Yeah. I like
So I would say, yeah, of course this is music because, like, I can. There's totally ways that I can like kind of incorporate this into like my own writing and like use this as a tool. And so like if I wouldn't define it as music, then I just don't think I could use it, and that would suck.
Well said, sir. Well, for the sake of communication, we'll call this noise, like as a style of music, you
Right.
know? And noise music has been used in various different ways by composers, free improv players, sound people write soundtracks. They'll use it maybe not as a full composition. They'll use it in sections here and there. They'll use it as transitions even, or as something that's in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, this stuff it can be very. You can use it for your own imagination. So your definition of music, which I was going to get to one more time, is.
I feel
at this moment.
Yeah, any sound that I feel can be used by myself for my composition.
Okay, cool.
Which is probably at that point just any sound.
Any sound, yeah.
Like any organized sound or unorganized.
Or field recordings, stuff like that would even work.
Why not? I mean,
yeah.
if it can be used, then it can be considered music for me.
Cool. I dig that. Let's do this. I want to listen just a little bit more, but I want to jump further.
Okay.
All right. So this is the whole album here, right?
It's about an hour.
Hour 13 or so
13.
minutes. Let's jump a little further around here just to get to see how it's different.
Okay. So like halfway through.
Or so, yeah. And let's try to listen deeply to what's going on. And see if we can hear again any changes, and then even let's see any like layers, try to search for what's going on top or underneath all the other noise, and then if they're changing by themselves, just like you would listen to, say, tonal type of music.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's just randomly jump here.
This is, for me, this is like, this feels almost like super light compared to what we had before. Yeah, it almost feels like if you just took like a recording of like a flowing river and then distorted like the hell out of it.
Did you hear the layers in here?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'll pay attention more to that. So many ads.
Okay,
They really want to make
sound
money.
work with How many layers would you say? I mean, there's just
How many layers?
some of the way. I mean, you can go by waves. If that helps you. Some waves are faster than other waves.
I don't know. It's so hard to like.
Like, I don't feel like there's many in this particular moment.
For me, trying to find the layers is like, if you were to take like, if you had like just a pile of mud, and then you were like, hey, find the layers.
Okay, that's good.
You know, it's like I'm trying to like dig into the music, but I feel like it just weaves into itself, you know, and it just kind of like every time you try and like dig into it, it kind of just folds back in on itself.
Okay,
you know?
cool. Yeah.
You know, that's kind of where my mind is at with like trying to dissect it.
Okay.
It's very visual though.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
very
yeah.
visual, which is awesome. I love that.
Well, I've noticed that people who really enjoy this type of music are very creative type of people, and I think it's because they, you close your eyes and listen to this type of stuff. I mean, it's very visual, like you're saying. You can.
I have an interesting story.
Oh.
I have an interesting story because you're talking about this visual kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was listening to the other day that it was like the ambient album that you showed me, Minima Moralia or something like that.
Okay. Minimalist?
No. It was a Chihei Hot.
Oh, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah,
yeah.
album. I forget the name of it, but it was like an ambient album.
Yeah.
And there was one part of it that kind of was like noisy, and it just kind of sounded. It had like a staticky kind of sound, and I was playing it in the car with my friend, and my friend, like, it got to this part, and then he turned it off. And I'm like, why'd you turn it off? And he was like, you wanted to listen to static? And I'm like, I'm listening to the album.
This was your car?
This is my car.
You touched your radio? Your car?
And I was like, you gotta. I was like, it was interesting because that wasn't in his definition of music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he thought it could be like radio static or something like unwanted that shouldn't be listened to.
Oh, nice.
And so he acted accordingly.
He thought he was doing you a favor.
But it was just an interesting thing, and there's nothing wrong with it or right with it or whatever. But it was just like how we had different definitions of what the music was, and it was coming from this really cool part of the song, and then it went into this like noisy section, and then we were gonna come out of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't perceived as music.
Wait, did he literally think it was like radio static, or did he know it was actually coming from the song itself?
I think he thought it was radio static, and I was like, dude, I was listening to that. He was like, you wanted to listen to the static, and I'm like, no, that was a song I was playing.
Okay. And did you put it back on?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe we should have him come here and we'll play some music for him.
Yeah. But it was just interesting.
Okay.
It kind of relates to this.
Well, yeah, it does. And it, I mean, in the car too, I can understand. Like when I'm in the car, I mean, I listen to like rhythm heavy, like type of music.
Yeah.
You know, more songs type of stuff. You
Fair
know,
enough.
stuff. You know, more abstract stuff. I definitely listen to like differently. You know.
Yeah.
So I understand.
It's
where
and
he's coming from.
I was
too.
also like, because most of the album isn't really like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you probably, it's more of like ambient kind of stuff, and I was just, I think I was just tired that day, and I just wanted some like nice, like sand kind of music, you know,
Sand kind
just
of
like
music.
waves of sand.
Oh.
I just wanted that, you know, and I put it on, but then we got to this part, obviously, and that happened.
Well,
But I've just been trying to like listen to like music that I wouldn't more casually, you know.
Yeah. Well, here's a theory I have, man. Okay.
Okay.
This, you know, coming from what you're just saying, I think this type of music, like or noise music, or extremely abstract music, can be appreciated and listened to by a wider audience if you put a rhythm section behind it. I think that's all it needs.
You think so?
Yeah, like you can have this music, put any kind of rhythm section behind it.
Yeah.
People will jam out to it a lot more than just this alone. And we're gonna do a little test.
We're gonna do a test.
We're gonna do a
oh,
test.
I'm excited. I'm already kind of hearing it. All right, let's do it.
All right, so if you can get on here, so we want to keep this on because we're gonna go back to this, but we're gonna go to a search here.
I want to try like a funk thing, just because I just want to see if it. I don't know if it'll work.
Okay,
Let's see.
Yeah, let's go.
Funk in C minor. You can be the mixer. We might have to give it a bit too. Wow, funky, man.
Just kind of imagine on stage, you got some rhythm section starting up. Then you see this guitar player with all those effects on the floor.
See, this might not work because there's a little bit more space between things, you know? But I don't know. I think it works. I'm digging it.
Imagine that. This guitar player kind of going off. Let's stand behind it.
I just got that's actually really good. Well, it's actually kind of working. Like they're talking to each other. Yeah, it kind of works.
You notice we're keeping this on longer, even.
Yeah.
And we were first without the rhythm section.
Yeah.
So,
That was. I love when the the noise stopped
Yep.
just when they stopped too. That's
that was
awesome.
perfect.
They were talking to each other.
They knew
Yeah.
the whole time.
That's really cool.
But you see, you get a rhythm section, you can put anything on top of it. People are gonna jam out to it because there's that relationship there. People are looking for patterns, you know.
Yeah.
Soon as you give them patterns within anything, no matter how abstract, it's more accessible. You
Mm.
know, um, that's also and this theory is broken, totally broken. But this is the idea
Mhm.
um, that when you hear the word hardcore, like hardcore music,
Yeah.
what do you think about, or what,
Like
what kind of music
I
do you
think of
think of?
like hard rock, almost like metal territory kind
Okay,
of thing.
all right, and I mean you hear it a lot, like hardcore, yeah, like you said, hardcore could be like yeah, like hardcore punk, hardcore metal. I mean I've heard it used for all kinds of music, like oh
Yeah.
this is really hardcore jazz, you know. And
Right.
what I realized was the more I mean hardcore idea is usually less melodic, less patterns are there, you know.
Mm.
Um that's why this theory is broken. It doesn't
It
make
could.
sense, but this is the idea that the less melody you have, the less accessible it could be at a certain point, you
Mm.
know. Um as soon as you add something like rhythm, something with patterns, it becomes more accessible. I think that's why something like you have some kind of Merzbow music, this noise, you play it for somebody, they're just going to be like, this is noise, turn it off, you know.
Mm.
But you add a rhythm track to it, they might take them a bit, but they'll get into it.
Yeah.
um,
Wow. That's a cool theory. That was a cool experiment. We should do more musical experiments.
I love musical experiments. We got to do more
This is cool.
so how do you feel this type of music can be used, you know, outside of just pure noise, because well,
Right.
um before you answer that, just also consider this. Since Merzbow has been doing this stuff, there has been a lot of little micro scenes around the world that
Mhm.
utilizes noise.
Mhm.
I mean, there's the harsh noise. There's drill noise, which is literally noise with drills plugged into like effects and stuff. Some noise scenes have people who make their own DIY type of instruments, like some
Mhm.
really really weird shit that
Yeah.
that people come out. There's about like 30 people watching. Most of them are also noise enthusiasts. They'll play their set on their weird DIY instruments. Sometimes they're bigger than you know the stage. um, and then the next person comes on after that, and it all sounds quite different.
Mhm.
Um, there's been like kawaii noise, like cute noise. I've seen that around Tokyo. Like
That's cool.
it's noise, but they want to make it look sound cute.
That's cool.
Sometimes it's the visuals that help.
Mhm.
So just consider all the different ways people have used noise.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Um in the terms of like how can this be used outside of just
Pure
pure
harsh
noise?
noise. Yeah.
Yeah. I think because my mind always goes to like a mix of like music and art installation or like
Mm-hmm.
different mediums of art,
Mm.
working together. I think I can really see this in maybe like a film or some sort of like installation
Mm-hmm.
um where they're like you're kind of grabbing at more abstract like things that are like real world experiences that are a little bit abstract.
Mm. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
could be like I don't know, maybe like a manic episode or something like that, or like some interesting like cognitive dysfunction or
Mm.
hyperfunction kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like these are real world experiences that you don't have to have a special condition to experience, but everybody's experienced like weird kind of abstract crazy things like this,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be cool.
I mean, that also what you said also works with this theory. You have visuals, something that someone can relate to.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
Mm,
this is just my own personal experience, but
Yeah.
sometimes sometimes when I'm like falling asleep
Uh,
at night,
uh.
sometimes I'll think of like I'll try and like think of pictures of like really like not abstract concepts, but just like sometimes I just think of like very minimalist like pictures and like just like little shapes and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then sometimes I'll think of like very cluttered images with just like a bunch of stuff going on and just like all like it's just like super I don't even know how to describe it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just super abstract stuff of just like generally basic concepts of like minimalism and like clutter and stuff like that.
That's cool. You ever
What
draw it?
No, I should, but
Mm.
like those ideas of clutter, this could be a cool
Mm.
background to that.
I mean, like, imagine this. Here we'll do this.
Mhm.
All right. It's a scary movie. All right. We have, let's just say, a kid, a girl, a young child. Her face is all dirty. She's in this room that's like barely lit.
Mhm.
There's a big hole in the wall.
Mhm.
Um, she's reaching to put her hand into this hole. You can already see on the edge of the hole like slime, and it's like gross. It's scary. You can feel the terror. And you hear her heavy breathing. I mean, in fact, the what you could hear is the voice is probably close to the mic, so you could that kind of heavy breathing. And as she's sticking her hand through inside the hole, something like this. And then whatever happens
I
next,
mean
you
that
see, but that works.
I mean that works. That's
Yeah,
100%.
especially that you're adding an element of audio that we're familiar with, the breathing, and then the visuals themselves.
Mhm.
It has that psychological effect where it all makes it. You don't even question it. You're not even
Mhm.
thinking, "Oh, this is weird noise music.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to that."
Yeah, it's just
It
like
does because it's part of the whole composition.
it's just like that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's the same idea as like reading like Edgar Allan Poe, where all of his language is super advanced, and like sometimes he'll take one paragraph or like a whole page to describe like a very particular feeling. Like he's kind of in command of like all of the language, like all of the words accessible to him,
Yeah.
kind of like what this is doing.
Yep.
But you don't read that, or at least like a bunch of
Uh.
unless you just don't like reading or don't like Edgar Allan Poe, but you don't read that and be like, oh, he's just saying, yeah, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I see the relation there. Well then, all right. So with this type of music, we talked about how there's other musicians, composers, free improvisers who are influenced or who use elements of this. So for example, if we think of say like a free improviser,
Mhm.
not even thinking like free jazz, just not an idiomatic type of free improvisation, right? Those who play this type of music, how many of them do you think are playing each detailed sound intentionally? Like, do you think a vast majority of the people have that kind of control over their instrument? Or are some people, they just like the sound, they can't play their instrument, and they're like, I can do that, and they mess around without really understanding what's going on. It's pure experimentation. Or, the opposite side of the spectrum, there's the people who know every little sound. They hear it in their head, and they know how to produce it on their instrument.
I mean, I would have to believe that the majority
Okay.
would be able to kind of articulate themselves in the way,
Mm.
because if they like really, I would assume like if they put the time in and effort to do this, they would already probably be hearing it in their head, and
Mm.
they would be the kind of people that would want to have like the really strict articulation of what they're playing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would assume most, I mean, you can't say, there's always going to be probably that one person that just does it because they did, because it's novel or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like most of the people in the scene who really care about it probably have pretty good articulation about it, or are working to get really good.
I mean, it's funny because I thought that too, because I
Yeah.
really respected it. But then when I talk to a lot of them in person, I mean, I don't know if they're joking or what. A lot of them are just like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Okay.
And which made me
Okay.
kind of like, it was a bad feeling because, I would listen to a lot of that stuff, especially with live, and really, lock into what they're doing, and just thinking like, this is art. They hear all this in their head, and they have a way of expressing it through their instrument. You know, I can also understand how that answer, especially for those who have done it for decades, and at one point that's just the way they feel. Even though when they were younger, they figured it out. They figured out their craft, and
Yeah.
they're able to do it. But just at one point in their life, they're just like that's their response to that kind of question. You know,
Fair enough.
I mean, then you got someone who goes deep into layers like Derek Bailey. You're
Mhm.
familiar with him, the free improv guitar player who he's an enigma. It's hard to say exactly what he's doing. You could tell he hears a lot of the stuff in his head, but at the same time, it seems like he intentionally goes beyond that. Like it seems like, for example, if a rhythm section's playing something, he intentionally doesn't listen to them.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah. Well,
so,
that's interesting because actually what you reminded me of, um, it reminded me of this interview with my savior Pat Metheny. But he was like, somebody was like, "Oh, what are you thinking about when you're improvising over this?" And he's like, "I don't even know what I'm thinking about.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing."
What's funny, I think I was this a video of him talking.
Yeah.
Was he talking about like? Did he say this like paraphrase like? Sometimes I'm just watching the rug under the drum set moving, and that's what's exciting to me at the time. Did he say something like that?
It could have been something similar like
okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
But that kind of reminds me of, it's like what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
like maybe these people have gotten so good that like they're just not really thinking it. They just go, and it's like, and then, but they're able to articulate everything they're hearing like almost unconsciously, and then they can use like the conscious part of their brain to look at the rug.
Like when we're talking, it's the same thing. We're so good at talking, and
Yeah.
and if say someone came up like a baby was able to ask us, because they're learning how to talk, and they're just like,
Yeah.
you must think about great things when you're talking, and you know how to do it so well. We would probably be like, no, we just talk, man.
Yeah. I don't even think about anything when I'm talking.
But yeah, so it goes with that. Anyway, before we end here, let's listen to a few moments of this kind of music since we talked about it, and we can think about what we talked about, and see if we have anything to say afterwards. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it. Graceful fade is needed there at the end. So by the end, are we hearing chaos, or have our ears learned a new language? That's type of thought that I think it's good to leave us off on. Beyond that, any closing statements before we get to the bell?
Yeah. I mean, this is a territory of music that I really haven't been anywhere like near, and it's like always kind of scary to venture out like past your comfort zone, but at the same time, I feel like with this experiment that we did today, like, and kind of like understanding how this music is everywhere and like how it has so many uses, it really, I think, reinforces the idea that like all music has a value and a purpose and a use, and that everything should be taken as like a tool to be used.
Yep. All music and sounds have a function.
Yeah.
And that's what creative composers, that's what they think about. What's the function of this sound, of this music, of this idea?
Yeah. But let us know what y'all think about this. And as always, do the like, do the comment, do the subscribe, and this time bell.
Hmm. I know where it's at.
Where is it?
I know. All right. For those, and there's many of you who follow where these bells are, I need you to turn on an old TV. Go to your grandparents' house, find one of those old TVs with the antenna, um, not the flat screens, the ones that actually get get pictures through the air. Turn it on. You'll get some static, right? Reach into that static. Don't be afraid of it. Just reach your hand into that static. Move your hand around. Somewhere in the middle, you'll feel something. That's the bell. Take the
Whoa.
bell out. And when you ring the bell, it's not going to sound like a bell. It's going to sound like louder static. And that'll help us out a lot. Would you think so?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Whoa.
Nice. Thank you. Bye.